There comes a moment in an exhausted person's life that almost no one notices. It doesn't happen during loud arguments or painful scenes. It happens later, quietly, when everything finally slows down. Maybe you're sitting on the edge of your bed, maybe on a bus seat, staring out the window, maybe on the cold bathroom floor late at night. The place doesn't matter. What matters is the feeling, a soft inward collapse, like something inside you has been carrying more weight than it ever could. Nothing dramatic happens. No crying, no shouting, just a quiet moment where something inside admits, I can't carry this anymore. People who haven't lived under pressure often miss this moment, but those who have recognize it instantly, because for them, falling apart was never loud. It was silent and controlled, almost careful, as if the mind was protecting itself from completely breaking. This moment isn't weakness. It's the body asking for rest. It's the nervous system finally loosening after years of staying tense. It's the heart admitting it's tired of being strong in silence. And hidden inside this moment is a question most people never ask. Why does the collapse of someone who carried too much look so calm, yet feel so heavy? People often say, you're so calm. Nothing seems to shake you. But what they're seeing isn't peace. It's numbness. It's the mind staying in emergency mode long after danger has passed. When stress lasts too long, the nervous system doesn't explode. It shuts down. It limits emotions, like a device switching to low power to avoid damage. You don't stop feeling because you're wise. You stop feeling because you're overloaded. Joy feels distant. Anger feels quiet. Even pain barely creates a reaction. Your brain isn't relaxed. It's protecting you by lowering the volume on everything. From the outside, this can look like strength, but real peace allows you to feel safely. Numbness blocks feeling altogether. So if your reactions feel delayed or flat, it's not a flaw. It's your nervous system saying, I'm holding things back until it's safe. Calm is a choice. Numbness is survival. There's a kind of maturity people admire. The steady voice, the thoughtful words, the way someone explains pain without anger. But many don't see how that maturity was formed. Some people grow wisdom slowly, with support and safety. Others develop it because life gave them no other option. When you grow up around emotional chaos or unpredictability, you don't mature naturally. You adapt, and adaptation comes at a cost. You learn to read other people's moods before you understand your own. You learn to comfort adults while you're still a child. You learn to understand silence and tension before you learn simple childhood lessons. While others are playing, you're learning how to stay emotionally safe. This makes you perceptive. It makes you the one others turn to. But that wisdom wasn't gently earned. It was taken from moments that should have been soft. That's why people who seem grounded often carry a quiet ache. They didn't choose to grow up fast. Life pushed them forward and didn't look back. Their maturity is real, but so is the sadness underneath it. The sadness of losing parts of childhood they never got to keep. Some children learn who they are through exploration. Others learn how to stay safe first, not because danger was constant, but because uncertainty was. When emotions around you change suddenly, your brain learns to stay alert instead of relaxed. The alarm system becomes overactive. The body stays tense, scanning faces, voices, and room for signs of trouble. This is why some people notice everything. They replay conversations. They sense tension before anyone speaks. A small change in tone can trigger anxiety. To others, it looks like intuition. In reality, it's a brain trained to survive. The skills that once kept them safe don't turn off easily. Even in calm moments, the body stays ready. This doesn't mean they're broken. It means they were shaped by circumstances they didn't choose. People who've been through too much develop skills they never asked for. They read silence. They sense emotional shifts. They notice when someone isn't okay. And one of the quietest skills of all is knowing how to shrink yourself, how to take up less space when attention feels unsafe. These aren't personality traits. They are survival responses. Love is meant to feel safe and steady. But for those who have carried too much, love often feels risky. Not because they don't want closeness, but because closeness once came with pain. When someone gets close, the nervous system tightens. Some pull away to protect themselves. Others become anxious, fearing loss even in stable relationships. They aren't afraid of love. They're afraid of losing themselves again. Emotional exhaustion doesn't arrive loudly. It fades in quietly. You still show up. You still respond. But something inside slowly dims. Conversations feel heavy. Small decisions feel draining. To others, you just seem quiet. But inside, you're carrying years of emotional weight. When someone asks if you're okay, you say you're fine. Not because it's true, but because explaining feels impossible. There's a kind of grief people rarely talk about. The grief of losing yourself over time. Of missing the version of you that trusted easily and moved through the world without fear. This grief doesn't destroy you. It shapes you. It teaches you to value peace and save people. Healing isn't just about becoming someone new. It's also about honoring the versions of you that carry the weight, so you could survive. Healing begins with understanding that your brain has been in survival mode for too long. Survival is powerful, but it isn't meant to last forever. Healing starts with noticing your reactions without judgment, learning to calm the body gently, breathing, grounding, allowing yourself to feel safe again, and slowly building connections that feel steady, not chaotic. Your brain can change again, not to survive, but to live. One day, quietly, you realize that everything you endured gave you depth. Not because life was easy, but because you learned how to move through storms. Your pain became awareness. Your survival became wisdom. And now, your life doesn't have to be about enduring anymore. It can be about creating something softer than your past. If this felt familiar, if you felt understood, you're not alone. Your story might be the light someone else needs.